My name Nipsey Hussle. I'm from LA, Slauson and Crenshaw area, you know.
Okay, well, Nipsey Hussle, that's named after Nipsey Russell, the
Correct.
comedian.
Correct, yes, yes.
So talk a little bit about yourself, man. What brings you up here, up and coming, and how come you're not blinging and having all kind of crazy diamonds and all that? I guess you here to get your money right, huh?
All the time, I mean, all that is cool for the image and all that, but all them is liabilities, you feel me? I'd rather invest in some real estate, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait, can you repeat that again, man? You're up and coming artist. What did you say you want to do?
I say invest in some assets as opposed to trick off my money on some liabilities like diamonds, you know what I'm saying? Cars that lose value as soon as you drive them off the lot.
So you're trying to get land.
Exactly, homie. A real asset. Take care of my peoples, cause it look good, but at the end of the day, you losing value, homie. It ain't appreciating. It's depreciating. It's losing value.
On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle was outside of his clothing store, The Marathon, located at Slauson and Crenshaw Boulevard in the Hyde Park neighborhood of Los Angeles. While he was talking with some friends and associates, a man named Eric Holder approached him. Nipsey and Eric Holder seemed to get into a disagreement about snitching allegations, which related to Eric, and Nipsey told him he had to get some paperwork to clear his name. After the dispute, Holder reportedly left the scene and returned with a gun, opening fire on Nipsey Hussle and the two other men that were with him. Nipsey Hussle was hit multiple times and was rushed to a nearby hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The two other men survived the injuries. The news of Nipsey Hussle's death sent shockwaves through the music industry and the community he worked so hard to serve. As not only a rapper but a cultural leader, the loss of Nipsey was felt deeply by those who knew him and by fans around the world. After a 2-day manhunt, Eric Holder was apprehended and charged with murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a felon. After a lengthy trial, he was found guilty of all charges. The prosecutor argued that Holder had no remorse for his actions, and that he deserved to be sentenced to life in prison without parole. In the end, the judge sentenced Holder to 60 years with the possibility of parole after 20 years. The reason the death of Nipsey hurt the hip-hop community so hard was, Nipsey was more than just a rapper. He was a cultural leader, a community activist, and an entrepreneur. Yes, he was known for his music and his fashion sense, but he was dedicated to the people of his hometown, Los Angeles. From a young age, Nipsey was interested in music. He had a strong entrepreneurial spirit as he was selling mixtapes on the streets of LA and eventually built his own record label, All Money In. What he was most notorious for that sadly got him killed was the Marathon clothing store, a flagship store he opened up in the heart of LA in the Crenshaw community where he grew up. The store not only sold his own merchandise, but provided jobs and resources to the community. Nipsey Hussle's impact was far beyond his business ventures. He was a vocal advocate for social justice and was committed to giving back to the community. Nipsey was loved by many, but his success and influence also made him a target. His death was a tragic reminder of the dangers of being loved and successful around those who are not. Nipsey's love for his community was felt far and wide, even in places he had never seen. His music and message inspired a generation of young people, particularly in communities of color, to pursue their dreams and fight for social justice. He was a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed bleak and unfair. But with success comes attention, and sometimes attention can be dangerous. Nipsey was targeted by those who saw him as a threat to their own success, their own power, their own sense of control. He was a very well-respected cultural icon, and surprisingly, an independent artist who gained most of his audience organically from things and motions in the streets and the good he did for his community. Before Nipsey's death, he had just released his debut studio album, Victory Lap, which was met with critical acclaim and commercial success. The album was a culmination of years of hard work and perseverance. Nipsey Hussle has been building his own record label, All Money In, and has released numbers of mixtapes over the years. He worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, such as Kendrick Lamar, YG, Puff Daddy, all to create an album about personal and powerful growth. When we think about Nipsey Hussle, we think about the marathon, which although is a physical event, it's a metaphor for describing the highs and lows of life and how there will always be multiple races or challenges in our life that we must overcome to finish. He approached his musical career with the same level of intensity and dedication that Kobe Bryant brought to basketball. Nipsey and Kobe both shared a similar philosophy, known as a Mamba mentality, a mindset that demands excellence in everything you do. For Nipsey, this meant pushing himself to the limit every day. He was constantly working on music, his business ventures, and his community initiatives. He was known to spend countless hours in the studio perfecting his craft and honing his skills. He was never satisfied with mediocrity and always striving to be the best. Like Kobe, Nipsey was a master of preparation. He believed that success was not just about talent, but also about the hard work and preparation. He was always looking for ways to improve his skills, whether it was through practicing rapping or studying the music industry. A common question people ask is, why do the good always die young? We have Eric Holder, aka Shitty Cuz, someone from Nipsey's neighborhood who grew up around him, and he saw the lifestyle of Nipsey compared to his, and he was envious. He saw how not only gangsters respected Nipsey, but regular civilians too. Nipsey was someone who educated people about financial literacy, a topic many minorities in South Central LA didn't give much attention towards. The Nipsey Hussle killer trial caused a bit of backlash from the streets, as Cowboy, who was at the Marathon clothing store the day Nipsey was killed, was subpoenaed to appear in court. Now for backstory, Cowboy was a close friend of Nipsey Hussle who actually worked at the Marathon clothing store. Although Nipsey was a man of integrity and morals, he was from the streets, and many people felt that Cowboy broke the code by taking the stand, even though he was basically forced. No disrespect to public defenders, but Eric Holder had a public defender from the start, and we knew he was cooked. We already know how hip-hop feels about snitching, but in this Nipsey Hussle and Cowboy situation, it was a bit different, and many people didn't even call it that. Eric Holder's team didn't deny it was him, and even with Cowboy taking a stand or not, they still had enough evidence. The whole aim of Eric Holder's defense team was to prove that he didn't go that day with the intention of killing Nipsey Hussle, and that was actually second-degree murder caused by anger, which led to violence. Murder is a heinous crime, and depending on the situation, it may be justifiable. In this situation, Eric was gladly not spared, and the judge threw the book at him, hitting him with 60 years. In the black community, we don't like law enforcement for the racial profiling we receive for no reason. But in this situation right here, justice was served, and although we cannot see or hear any creation from Nipsey Hussle, his impact on LA and other communities can be felt to this day. To this day on my channel, my biggest video was a Nipsey Hussle killer trial, death penalty awaits, with 9,000 views. If you like this content and interested in what I just spoke about, I recommend you go watch that video and show me some love. Thank you guys for your time. Jared the Star, I'm gone.